Mother raised 5 kids. I was the youngest. 4 boys and 1 girl. And my dad was a hog buyer.
Oh, really?
He bought hogs all over, a big operation, and worked primarily with armor.
Oh, where did you go to high school?
Minnesota, and they graduated in '44. When I went in, I didn't go in until out of basic training from Texas, was in Germany, and went into the 3rd Army. I did enlist, but I would have been called up anyway. Camp Fannin.
Okay.
Dallas. And then went overseas. The war was going on. And then it ended in '45. I was with 3rd Army in Germany. 301st Signal. Well, I did primarily clerk typing. And then they needed typists when the war was ended then. And so we were in Germany already, and out of Heidelberg in the Bad Tolz area is where I started working in the Signal Corps out of the Bad Tolz, and then into Nuremberg. My mother said, "Now, Lawrence, when you sign up this fall, be sure you take up typing." "Oh, typing, Mom," I said. "I'm not a girl." "Well, you don't have to be a girl to learn how to type." We had a typewriter, and they were no electric ones. Both your brothers, Bernard, and not all 3 of your brothers took up typing. And anyway, I didn't favor that, but come in the fall, you really didn't disobey, you know.
Yeah.
There were 20 guys in the typewriter class, 1 boy, and that was me.
Well, it's a great way to get to know women.
It was a pretty good job. Yeah. And that's where the 301st was doing work with Nuremberg. And so it was a natural to get in. I wanted to go in and asked to go in, and but not as a court reporter, but as a clerk.
So as a clerk, what was your principal duties, Larry?
The end of the day, we'd determine what was best to write up for publication.
Yeah.
And we took notes, and then we would have a meeting that afternoon or evening, and out of those would come releases to the newspapers. Well, at Nuremberg was the biggest. I'd say about 40.
So you had 40, and did you go into the courtroom and take notes?
Yeah.
And how would you take the notes? Were they just stenographic notes?
Yeah, they would. Oh, some of them knew how to do the shorthand, but I didn't. I took mine. I could type fast, but I couldn't write very fast. I just did it with longhand, and then we would have a type out what we had. So many guys took this side, so many this, so many there. About 20, 30 of us.
You walk into the courtroom from...
Walked right by the defendants. Yeah, right by them.
The first day that you walk into the courtroom, you walk into the Palace of Justice. I just came back from there. I was there 2 weeks ago. So
were you?
Yeah. And so you walk in, and there you see the defendants.
Oh, yeah, that's something to see. Oh, I guess that I didn't have much. They were all liars, you know. And I had no time for any one of them, Goering included.
So he was probably the biggest recognized name there, wasn't
he? Was second in command to Hitler.
So when you saw him, did you get an impression of him?
Yeah.
What was that?
Arrogant, and the way he would plead was never anything wrong. just taking orders, just taking orders. And he was second in command, and he talked like he was cocky. He never volunteered anything, I know that. He was quite reserved, I'd say.
Going every day or most every day?
Pretty near.
Pretty near?
Yeah. He was mainly the main speaker. He was impressive. He came from the Congress, and he was in command right away. And he got a lot of respect from the rest of them. He came from Washington, D.C. He was high-ranking individual.
Did you have an emotional reaction towards those defendants? Did you?
Well, I think we had hate. Yeah, because they're pretty free-spoken, a lot of soldiers are. And let's goddamn him, and he put them out. We also interviewed quite a few Jews that had been in the concentration camps. And that was a kind of a sideline, more or less, because some days we would be interviewing those guys that they had released from the different camps. That was quite an experience to hear what they had to say. So when you
gathered that information of what they saw at the camps, what did you do with the product? You had a bunch of papers that you guys had typed up. Where did it go from there?
They told us they were going to Washington. I don't know if they were or they weren't.
You walked into Dachau when the Jewish prisoners were still there?
Yeah.
Wow. What was the...
Skinny, I got some pictures. Well, that one big poster you seen there, or did I explain about where his hand was on that Star of David?
No, go ahead. No, you did not.
All right, I remember the one guy that was, how do I want to put that together? We weighed a bunch one day. We wanted to know what the men weighed. And 400 of them were put aside, and then we marched them over to scales. What do you think those guys weighed that were in those camps? Well, they were 104.
Wow.
That were men now, 104 pounds.
Wow.
That's what they weighed. You'd see them piled.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have been all collected yet. It was a hell of a sight for a kid, 18, 19 years old. And I used to cry a lot. I'd cry in my bunk because we were taking all of this information from from the Jews. Mm-hmm. And boy, they suffered. I got a lot of respect for the Jews. There was a lot of hate from those Jews too, how they were treated and starved and never given any breaks.
The evidence that you were typing up on the Holocaust day after day after day, did that affect you personally?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't believe how bad it was. Yeah. And when you're pretty young, if you were raised decent, you would never think of doing the things that they did.
What was Nuremberg, the city, like? As far as when you left the courtroom and you walked down the streets, what was it like?
Well, like all those cities were bombed out. The worst one in the American zone was Mannheim. Mannheim had... I don't know, but a lot of war materials that they were putting together. But Mannheim was the worst one. Mannheim. Heidelberg was the only one that wasn't hit because they hadn't had anything there. Heidelberg was a college, more or less. So we headquartered pretty nice there. But of all, as far as you could see when you came into Mannheim, I went there often. It was nothing but just rubble, 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 rubble. Everything was level. There wasn't anything higher than 6 foot.
My gosh. Was that the same way at Nuremberg?
No, Nuremberg wasn't as bad, but this was extreme, is where Mannheim was. Yeah. The Autobahn, they repaired that pretty fast. That was the main highway connections they had in Germany. There was a lot of fraternizing going on. A lot of women. Oh God, if they could get to the United States, boy, that would get out of Germany.
So did you actually go into the trial at Dachau, or were you in this kind of in the back room?
More in the back room, I'd say, than I was in the trials. You're a better typist. They wanted official. You did letter typing for them.
When you came home, Larry, and your mom and dad see you for the first time in a while, what did they say?
Well, Dad was never one to show much emotion, but he did that. I was the youngest, and he threw his arms around me. He never did that before.
Yeah.
Shortly after the war was over, the radio, we didn't have TV, the radio was interviewing 2 college professors. And the one college professor said to the other one in their interview that he called Nuremberg wasn't much different than when the Americans locked up the West Coast Japanese, put them in jail. It was about the same as it was over in Germany. Oh my God, you never heard about them putting to death the number that died in the trials and had reported it. And if they're telling their kids it was no difference at Nuremberg than it was in San Francisco locking up West Coast Japanese, that's wrong. And I'll tell them what I saw. And that's what I did. I tell them what I saw. Mine was, what did I see? What did I hear? What did I tell? What I saw. Things that I saw, to take Dachau as an example, I saw those things. I didn't write about somebody else's said. I saw it. Gave over 400 presentations on Nuremberg and the war crime trials.
Tell me about the movie itself. Whose idea was to do the movie The Typist? The movie itself. I mean, that's a great movie. I watched it last night.
Do you call it a movie?
Yeah.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Was it the 50-minute one? Or
Yeah, 50-minute one.
The reason we did that, there's 2 guys there, Chuck and Clausen. And they interviewed me, and they put that movie together. Chuck and Dave. They used to get, he's in the movies now. There was a song on that. When they'd see me, they'd say, hey, he's in the movies now.
You're great. This is terrific. I really appreciate you sharing these stories with us, because you, as you mentioned, one of the last people who was actually involved personally in the trial. So when you can say you saw Dachau concentration camp, you saw Hermann Goering and Rudolf Hess, you saw Robert Jackson. I can't do that. I can only talk to people who did do that.
Yeah.